What should I do today? I don't know. Man, this is tough. I'm just gonna go watch Game of Thrones. They got dragons in that. Dragons? Wait, this is a dragon.
Oh yeah.
What's up, guitar friends? Welcome back to a new episode of James Brady Guitar. As you saw in the intro, kind of didn't know what I wanted to do this week, so I was looking around my room and I saw the dragon guitar, and I thought, wow, well, it's the premiere week of Game of Thrones. I'm a huge fan. There's dragons in that show. Maybe I should show you guys the dragon guitar. So somehow that made sense in my brain. Just stick with me. So I figured I'd show you the dragon guitar, show you where it came from, how I built it, how I painted it, and of course, how it sounds. So quick story as to how I ended up with this guitar kit. Actually showed this to my father-in-law because he's awesome at woodworking and these come unfinished and I thought he would love it. And then I ended up with it for Christmas. So thanks. And I don't know anything about building guitars, so it was quite the challenge, but I was happy to accept it. So this guitar is from Solo Music Gear. They're a website that specializes in DIY kits. You could buy them full, the kit comes with everything you need to just rock a guitar. They also do pieces, so you can just buy a body, a neck, so you can get like a Telecaster style body, a different kind of neck. You could mix and match, I guess, if you want to do that kind of crazy Frankenstein sort of deal. You could buy electronics from them, hardware, all kinds of stuff. They even have like pickups on their site, like real deal brands. They also have other hardware like Babbitt's bridges, all kinds of cool stuff you can get on their site. So check out Solo Music Gear. So this particular one is the LPK 200 DIY kit. So obviously LP standing for Les Paul style. They can't really write Les Paul, they'll get sued. But yeah, it's pretty similar, man. It's a mahogany body, maple top. You can get a few different versions. They have like a spalted maple top. This is just a 2 centimeter slab of maple. You can get flame maple too, which is pretty cool. It's a maple neck and an engineered rosewood fingerboard. So a little different there. I mean, these are cheap. So this is only like 220 bucks. So, they got to cut corners somewhere. Where they did probably cut the most corners is in the electronics. These are not the original pickups that came with it. I changed them out already. I didn't even want to try them. The bridges and stuff, the holes are drilled for like what would be an Epiphone style instead of Gibson. The electronics are also more in like the Epiphone vein. Same with the switch. The tuners are okay, especially for just like a $200 kit. But eventually I'll probably change those too. They don't really stay in tune that well. So that's probably where you lose most of the money there. But if you're willing to invest a little bit, you can get a pretty cheap Les Paul that you can build yourself and make it whatever color if you're willing to do the work. So before we get into a playthrough of this dragon beast, I just want to tell you guys the upgrades I made to it already. So, if you hear it and you're like, wow, that sounds pretty cool, the one you get might not sound like this, whether you like that or not, that's subjective. But so these pickups are from an Explorer that I had, so they're Gibson Burstbucker Pros. I always swap pickups out of guitars. I don't know, I'm like a pickup junkie. But so these are true Gibson pickups, so they have a little more of the actual Les Paul sound. And these electronics are from Emerson, so they're also USA upgraded electronics. I had to drill bigger holes in this, just FYI. If you do get a kit and you do get like USA electronics, you'll probably have to make the holes bigger. So you got to get like a Dremel tool and kind of wind that out, which is really annoying. I didn't do anything to the switch. This is the normal switch. And like I said, the tuners and stuff are the same. But yeah, I just kind of upgraded all the electronics down here. So just so you know, when you hear it, this is like actual USA stuff. All right, so I think we're all here to see how this thing sounds. I will run through the tones for you. We'll go clean, all 3 positions. Then we'll do distortion, all 3 positions. I'll be running through my Laney. We won't use any effects. Only thing you'll probably be hearing is some reverb, and that's from the amp just to, make it sound a little nicer. That's it. So we'll run through the tones, and then I'll tell you guys how I built this thing. that's how the Dragon sounds. I hope you like that. I think it sounds pretty awesome, particularly for a guitar that costs only $200. So the build process. This was very challenging for me. I don't know anything about building guitars. This is the first thing I ever did. I watched a ton of videos on YouTube to learn how to do stuff like most people do now. Yeah, it was awesome. It was rewarding and also frustrating. So I'll be posting some pictures up, you know, as we roll through this, just because obviously I didn't film a lot of me building it. I didn't know I was gonna do this. But so this comes just bare wood. This is not, you know, it's just a little bit of sealer I think was on it, but you got to sand the guitar anyway. When you do that, the binding was already on, stuff like that. You know, the neck wasn't in, so you have to set the neck and all that. But yeah, so the first thing I did was I sanded everything down, the back, front, the back of the neck, the headstock, all of that, got it nice and smooth. And then you have to think about what kind of paint job you're gonna do, which then determines how you're gonna seal the wood, or you know, what finish you put on. So that's all kind of things you have to factor in. With this, I just sanded it, and then I took a stain to the back and front. You know, this is like a bunch of different colors. I tried my best at doing a burst sort of thing. The back is just like a straight, like dark cherry kind of color. I don't know if you can see that in there. Yeah, these control plates are great. I put like a dragon here and then like some sparkly glitter thing, because I don't know, I just wanted everything to be custom. But yeah, and then what I did before I finished it was I took paint pens and I just kind of did this design, which I had already drawn beforehand, and then I did the stain, and then I basically cut it out with paper and made a stencil for myself and just went over it with the outline color, this silver, and then I went in with the colors that I wanted. Yeah, and then once that was done, I put polyurethane on it, like 7 coats, you know, in between, letting it dry, sanding it, then putting another coat, like doing that whole process. There's great videos online of this stuff. Check out Brad Angove. He's awesome. He does guitars all the time, and you could learn a ton from him. That's what I did. There's a few others. Crimson Guitars is awesome too, and they have good products. From there, once that was done, and I did the same thing with the neck and headstock, you know, sanded, colored, polyurethane, set the neck in with some wood glue, clamp it, let it sit for a day. Then yeah, you pretty much have a guitar. Then it's just putting all the hardware in, electronics. I had my buddy Rocky, who you've seen on the channel. He hooked me up. He knows how to do all the soldering, which I'm terrible at. So he did the pickups, wired them in to the electronics here. We had to figure out how to get the ground in, because you're supposed to put that in and then hammer in the bridge. So we did that opposite. So yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, you know, it wasn't that hard. Like, if you learn about it and you do it and you take your time, it can be a really, really rewarding project. Especially if you love guitar, you can have a guitar that, you know, like, you didn't cut the wood from a tree or anything and do it yourself, but just getting it, sanding it, painting it, getting your hands dirty doing it, there's like a love factor that goes into this thing. Like, is this my best guitar? No. Like, I have other guitars with better action that might sound better, that are cooler. But I built this. I painted it, I sanded it, I put it together. There's like, I don't know, this affection I have for this guy too, and you know, it has a dragon on it. That's awesome. All that being said, I do just want to bring up a few, you know, precautions I'd have for getting a DIY kit. One, just prepare to have some time. You want to have some sort of workspace set up, things like that. You're going to get dirty with sanding, polyurethane, all the staining that goes on. You want to set up a good area for all the processes you're going to do, so think about that. And also, just know that when you get these kind of kits, they are cheap. So the electronics, like I said, they're not very good. You know, let's just put it at that. You know, they'll work for, you know, what it is, if whatever level you're playing at. So if you just want to like make a guitar, it's fine. If you're thinking about gigging with some of these, I would suggest maybe just at least upgrading like the volume and tone knobs. They weren't very good. You know, I might actually take out this switch, because it's I don't know, it makes a lot of noise when you click it, which is weird. And pickups, you know, that too, and particularly the tuners, because the tuners are not good. So if you want your guitar to stay in tune, which is important, I would take out those tuners. Yeah, so you might want to put a little bit of money and work into just kind of upgrading the parts. But like I said, this is mahogany on maple, which is basically what Gibson gives you if you want a Les Paul, and a lot of high-end guitars are mahogany on maple. So you're getting like a spec'd guitar that's really good for a cheap price. If you have the money to drop a couple of pickups in there, you have a really good guitar for like not a lot of money. So that's pretty awesome. But yeah, watch out for that. And also, I had a big problem with like mounting screws and like any kind of like metal work like that just was not good. When I first put these pickup rings in, I drilled them in, and halfway in they snapped, and they kept doing that no matter what I did. So I stopped, and I went to my local shop, and we kind of figured out how to get those things in. But yeah, so just watch out for that too. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode about the Dragon DIY build guitar. If you guys want to see me build another guitar, let me know. I can always try my hand at building another one. We can video the whole thing. That'll be awesome. And if you have any questions about how I built this one, maybe I can help you out. I don't have as much knowledge. I'm not like a luthier or anything, but I'll try my best. I really hope you liked this episode. If you did, please give me the thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. I'll be here every week with more awesome guitar stuff. If you want to keep hearing me play, you can check out The Rooftop Rebellion. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. We're even on YouTube. So check me out there. As always, guys, keep on rocking, keep shredding, rock on.